My life never been the same since I've heard that story from my grandfather. The pain he had could be felt in the room. I was on the edge of my seat listening to what happened next. I was on an emotional roller coaster. Everyone had this experience in their life, either with mom, dad, brother, sister or anyone. Listening to a story and biting your nails. What is going to happen next? Being curious. This is the power of storytelling. You have the ability with a really powerful story to impact the way people think and furthermore behave. People are busy and time is finite and information is infinite. They are choosing who to pay attention. That's why storytelling became the #1 skill in the world, because it's the art of guiding attention. Think about the last time where you were talking or telling a story. Everyone was focusing on you or they were on their phone. Because if you don't know how to tell a good story, you're not going to get attention. But I don't have story to tell, no one wants to listen my story. This is your thoughts right now, and this is your coping mechanism. It tries to push you away from learning the most important skill in our life. Because humans understand the world through stories. It's an evolutionary trait. Stories are 22 times more memorable than facts alone. They are ingrained in us. The only difference to 1000 years ago is that we are not listening to stories face to face, but on social media. Social media and content creation is moving from these childish, overrated, stupid videos to the videos which are connecting meaningfully with the viewer. I honestly think that no one is able to watch a stupid, overrated video or a video that is from some kind of guru trying to sell some kind of course, providing actually no value. That time is over. People understand that we can use social media better. We can build networks, businesses and relationships. People don't want dopamine, they want connection, they want depth. Everyone in their free time is watching their favorite creator because that is the person they connect to. Every creator is using storytelling to capture attention and build a brand. Hence, the foundation of a good brand is a story. Why you love Nike, Apple or Acer is because there is a story behind the company, and I've already created a video about branding, so this is the video, you can check it out, link in the description. What do people have in common with Ratatouille? It's a rat. It likes cooking, and a lot of people don't like these two things. But Ratatouille has a dream, and every person can relate to the ups and downs of pursuing your dream. But Ratatouille's dream is shattered, because his father says that to not even try because he is a rat. But a dream that cannot be pursued because of the gender, age, color, ethnicity makes it relatable. It connects on a deeper level with the audience. Good storytellers can make a successful movie from a rat which likes cooking. But you, as a creator, you suffer generating views and building the brand. It's because your videos don't connect with the audience. You lack the ingredients which are important for a great story. Robert, stories don't work. That's a lie. Great stories change people's lives. Look at Mr. Beast's philanthropy. Every video has at least 20 million views. It's a great story with simple editing, and even they are helping others with their fundraisers. A great story connects on a deeper level with the audience and leaves an impact. You cannot change thousands of years of evolution. We love stories, we want to hear us, it's ingrained in us, we want to know what's next. Storytelling is the start and finish. You start your story at birth, you hear stories every night, later you have stories which you wish you would forget. At last, your story ends. Everyone's story is interesting, but they don't know how to tell it correctly. Make people care. Your story is interesting, just you don't know how to express it correctly. You have to make people care about your story, otherwise no one is going to pay attention to you. Curiosity loop. This well-organized absence of information which pulls you in. Creators don't get attention because they are not making the viewer curious. Think about the movie Finding Nemo. There is the character named Dory who forgets everything. She opens a lot of curiosity loops. People are on the edge of the seat waiting what is going to happen next. Will she forget the task? Will she mess up the mission? Will she be eaten by the sharks? Andrew Stanton's quote, and he's one of the storytellers from Pixar, he created Wall-E, Finding Nemo and Toy Story. If you tell too much, people are not going to be interested, they are not going to be thinking. But if you just give enough, people want to know more. Because humans want to piece together the puzzle which they are given. You can lead a horse to a water, but you can't make it drink. Your goal is to open curiosity loops by leading them to the water and letting them drink on their own. And the way to achieve that is by implying a transformation. People want to go through a transformation. People don't like to change personally, but we like to go through a transformation through a hero on a journey. We are drawn to changes. Nothing is constant in life. If something is changing, we want to know what is going to happen. A simple example can be, when I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. After reading this sentence, you want to know more. What happened? Why is it cold? Did someone die? It's an endless cycle. Until you don't know what happened, you want to read the story. If you have studied persuasion, selling, marketing, then you know that all of them revolves around the problem. In the example, the bed is cold, it implies a change and the problem, because why is it cold? There is a problem and a change that it's now cold, it wasn't before. Second, relatable. You have their attention, but what are you going to do with it? We humans have a really big problem, but it's really good for storytellers. We are selfish. The first question people want to know the answer to when they are clicking on your video or watching your content is what's in for me. They want to know why they should pay attention to you rather anyone else. You have to make the story relatable for them. Let's go back to the example of Ratatouille. A rat who likes cooking is not relatable, but a rat with a dream suppressed by conditions is relatable. Your job is to make the story relatable to their life. They have to connect to you on a deeper level. Viewers like to connect with the right people. There's even studies done where they are storyteller and the story listener, they are speaking, the storyteller is giving the story, the brainwaves of these two persons are going to match. How unbelievable that is, that we are synchronizing our brain to the storyteller. We want this connection, this is ingrained in us. But there is one ingredient for that, and that is making the idea which you are conveying to the viewer feel close to them. The rat with a dream. But your ideas are dead. You copy someone else's idea and you wait the viewer to connect to you meaningfully. But that is not going to happen. Thriving stories come from good ideas. For example, when the Pixar created the Finding Nemo, all of the storytellers had their first kid and all of them were boys. It emanates the feeling of what the storytellers actually felt, and all of these good ideas come from within. That idea is something you haven't really thought about. We are value creators. We are not selling to what happened to us as a story, but we are conveying our value proposition in a story. Still, your ideas needs to be alive. Robert Greene, who is the author of The Laws of the Human Nature, this book, and the author of The 48 Laws of Power, talks about the difference between average and exceptional content. It comes from the ideas. If the idea is dead, it won't attract anyone. But if it's thriving and it's alive, it can become a powerful content. Why your ideas are dead is because you're only seeing it from one perspective. It's a good idea from your angle, but is it good for everyone else? Everyone sees the world differently. We have different skills, beliefs, goals. If you don't package the idea for the viewer, they will not care about it. As they are looking for what they are going to get from your piece of content, you have to package it into their perspective of what they are going to get from this piece of content. So what you need to do is explore the idea from all of the possible angles. We can't see a three-dimensional object. We only see one side of it. But through thinking, we can recreate those three dimensions. Your ideas will become fresh and alive if you analyze it from different perspectives. This sounds really hard at the start, and yes it is, but you're going to get the hang of it. I have learned this from Danko. He has a really good product, the 7 Days to Genius, which explains how to generate the genius ideas, how to explore ideas from different angles. It's a really good step-by-step process. You can check it out, there will be a link down below. So remember that there is two core elements for a good story. The first is opening a curiosity loop with implying a change, a transformation, and giving them a reason to stay, what's in for them, and you have to explore the idea and package it in order they want to see this video and they want to watch it. There are also some other elements which are really important. Structure. Structuring your story is painful. That's why frameworks were created. The hero's journey, conflict and resolution, the transformation, the hero's 2 journey. There is almost unlimited frameworks which you can use, but I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about why they are working. With a little bit of research you can get them and you can feel it out. It's really easy to feel it out after you have the template for it. Of course, I'm not going to forget a structure of a story, but I'm going to show you in a different fashion. There is much more important things than a climax, resolution, and other different things. There's only one secret to making the viewer sit on the edge of the seat and consuming your information, your video, your content, and that's a roller coaster. You have their attention and you've given them a reason to stay. Still, if we are talking about movies, there is hours of action. So how do they keep the attention of the viewer? It's an emotional roller coaster. The only way someone keeps the attention of the viewer is changing their emotional state frequently. From happy to sad, from sad to happy, from happy to sad, from sad to happy, until the story ends. This Sunday I realized how important this was in storytelling. Me and my family, we have watched the documentary and it was about wolves on a Vancouver island. So how did they catch our attention? And the first step is by implying a change, because one of the wolves was cast out from the pack. It had to leave the island and it was a transformation. But everyone knows that wildlife documentaries can be boring as hell. But they used something which they kept our attention, which was really interesting. So every 5 minutes they have changed our emotional state. The wolf ate, everything was fine, but the bear come, everything was bad. Then the bear went away, everything was fine, but the wolf is hungry, we are very sad. And then the wolf found food that's really good. And this was going on 3 45-minute episodes. In a longer piece of content like a YouTube video or a newsletter, if you don't play with the emotional states of the viewer or the consumer, you're not going to get their attention. And they will be bored, but also the same thing is recognized in speeches. But there it's not the happy and sad moments which are in contrast, but the present and the future. Steve Jobs at the first time when he introduced the iPhone, he used the same pattern. In the present we have ugly phones, but the iPhone is amazing. In the present phones have really bad ugly buttons, but the iPhone is amazing. And we went on this same cycle. Of course I now derailed a bit from storytelling, but it fascinates me how these all interconnect. Storytelling and speeches, well, they're almost the same. Also I found this pattern in some of the viral shorts. Let me show you the example. It's from a guy from Instagram, you can check it out, link in the description. This is the script of the video which I want to talk about. You see, ChatGPT is a fine tool, but it's not actually specialized and trained to create the best copy and resources for what you are needing. So I found an alternative. What this tool does is combine the capabilities of the top AI tools, and it's actually tailored to what you need, unlike ChatGPT, which as we know everyone uses. He compares ChatGPT with the tool he's presenting, and he's using the same roller coaster here. ChatGPT is good, but not enough. But this tool is great and ChatGPT is bad. He's creating the ups and downs in the same fashion. This section also was a roller coaster, but it's really important to understand this. The foundation of every good long story is having an emotional roller coaster. If you're just starting out, use frameworks, yes, but this is why they work and it's important to understand that. Flows. Every character has a flaw, there is no perfect hero. Batman lost his family, Superman has kryptonite, Thor faces unworthiness and loss, Iron Man struggles with ego and addiction. A hero which cannot be defeated is boring, because then we know that they cannot be defeated. But if they have flaws which can be used against them, they are vulnerable and we can relate to that. What's relatable to a perfect hero? Well, nothing. And what's relatable for a vulnerable hero? Well, their vulnerability. If you try to paint a perfect picture about yourself or anyone else in your story, no one cares. We want to listen to a story which can be related to, which can be useful for us, which you can learn from. A story which can be told again and again and again, and perfectionism doesn't help, forget that. If you want to be a really good creator, you must show your flaws, because people will relate to that. Also, flexing them won't help, but being honest and true to your audience will build a deeper connection. Video editing. I use storytelling in my videos, but I also have to edit those videos. But sometimes I see edits on stories which doesn't feel right. You also had that, I think, when you're watching a story and the editing just takes away from the video, doesn't give.
The edit should amplify the story. As an editor, as much as I would like to flex these things and get told that, oh wow, the edit's so great, that kind of means that I've done a pretty poor job in telling the story correctly.
This guy you just have seen, he's called Dan Mays, he's the director of Mr. Beast Philanthropy. Their videos have a great story and very simple editing, because the only reason editing exists is to help with the flow of the story. Just think about it for a moment, which existed before? Editing or storytelling? Storytelling is the key to a good video, and after that comes the editing. I like to imagine that if someone would have read my script for my video and wouldn't feel that it's a really great video, a really great story, I have to redo it. Editing can save your video. If the story is bad, people won't care. Rather, spending hours on editing, spend more time on creating the good story. People will acknowledge that and they will understand it. This was storytelling. If you want to write a really good story, you have one job. Right. I could tell you every secret which I don't even know, but that won't make you a good storyteller. You have to do it for yourself. You have to sit down, write, and then you will become a very good storyteller. If you're not writing your own story, someone else will write it for you. So pick up the pen and start writing. We do not reach goals, we become the person who can achieve them. Charlie Morgan. If you already heard this advice and haven't seen success, I know your pain. Every successful person tells us we need to become the person, but no one tells us how. Through my longest journey and a lot of failed businesses, I realized that goals are easy to achieve if you know how. That's why I've created my OQP framework. It will transform you into the person who you need to become. Check the link in the description below. If you want to build a powerful personal brand which will give you the life you want and let you live the lifestyle, right now for a limited time I will help everyone who DMs me coaching on Instagram for free. It's nothing attached, I will help you. We will hop on calls. I will see you later.